One of the aspects of the budget 2022 has to do with this. The finance minister is under pressure to announce if government will implement the basic income grant. Labour and business are divided on its affordability and what its implementation will mean for the fiscus. eNCA's Govan Whittles joins me now for that conversation. And Govan, when we say that there's a bit of pressure on the finance minister around this issue of the basic income grant, it's not a new conversation. It has fresh impetus, though, since the introduction of the Social Relief of Distress grant and the comments that President Cyril Ramaphosa had made about the need to explore the feasibility thereof. What is Labour's take, particularly COSATU? You've been in conversation with them.
I have indeed, and COSATU believes that the conversation has moved beyond whether it's needed, especially after the President's comments demonstrated that the implementation of a relief grant such as that does have positive impacts on the economy. COSATU says right now they want to hear from Enoch Godongwana how far along the process is and by when he will be able to determine how much a basic income grant would be. They say the conversation is now just about how affordable it is or how much the government can afford, and not whether it can afford anything at all. So the General Secretary says they're hopeful that the Finance Minister will be able to give a concrete update on the process towards a deadline when they envision it should be implemented. But let's have a listen to Bekin Chalinchali and his comments.
We expect them to talk about the processes moving forward. There's no debate about basic income grants. South Africa is part of the many countries and sitting in the ILO, the comprehensive social security. Every country says we must go to that route because there will be people that will not be able to fend themselves. And it's a responsibility of the state. The issue is not about the horizontal one, is the vertical one. How much can the state afford to help those particular people? So it's a responsibility of the state, and I don't think it is helpful for anyone to start opening the debate. Professor Taylor talked about this thing long time ago, and there's been just dilly-dallying between Treasury and the social development ministers. We think that debate is concluded, not only by the party, the governing party, but the society as the whole, that this must be attended to.
So you can hear the frustration with the debate that seems to be endless, including, the feasibility processes that have taken place, but also that leaked report that basically came out some weeks ago that basically warned that we're not so sure about whether or not this would be sustainable. So other than the basic income grant, Govan, what are the other priorities that COSATU believes should top the agenda for the finance minister this afternoon?
Well, they want to see finances being allocated towards the president's reform program, particularly in the security cluster, and they want to see the law enforcement agencies get allocations so that they could better do their jobs. And COSATU says that Enoch Godongwana finds himself needing to match the president's urgency that was set in the SONA address, and says that if they don't see allocations, particularly to the fight against corruption and the re-establishment of or the reworking of state-owned entities, then it would create the impression that the government's treasury and the head of state are not on the same page, and it would perpetuate that uneasiness that exists within Labour, that they're not able to get the Treasury on side to proposals that they make to the President. This is important because the Treasury is not obliged to consult on specific budgetary items with the ANC's alliance partners. The furthest COSATU can go is consultations that are broad in NEDLAC, and their priorities are set out, but it's not indicated whether or not money will be allocated. So COSATU is waiting, and they're trying to apply this pressure via the State of the Nation address, knowing that's where they have more leverage and where consultations are more direct. Let's have a listen again to Bekin Chalinchali about this issue.
Is our hope. We have not been given any indication that that will be supported, but we're taking a tune that it won't be a useful way for the president to talk about these things and not to walk the talk. So Treasury and the presidents, in our view, they should be speaking in the same languages. If the president put the issues of corruption, the issues of job, the issue of state enterprises to be revived. That talks won't be complete unless Treasury come to the play too and say, indeed, we are one government, we are talking on the same issues.
So it goes to show, Govan, that the budget is as much a political process as it is a financial and an economic one.
It is indeed, and of course COSATU is waiting with bated breath to see if their lobby positions will succeed. But ultimately, if they don't, it will influence how COSATU acts towards the incumbent and his government, leading to that ANC conference.
All right, I've got to thank you for that update. That's eNCA's Govan Whittles watching particularly what Labour has had to say. You'll know that SAFTU, for their part, are saying they'll be picketing ahead of the budget taking place this afternoon.